All right, so on table 1, we pick up this 3, 9, 10 queen, and heads up, I have no reads. I open it.
Yep.
It's got that one gap in the top, but it's got queen 10, 9. Then it's got a suit, and even though it's 3 of a suit, I mean, it's still a suit. So, like, to me, this is good enough to open on the button.
Yeah, it's definitely good enough to open on the button and heads up. Read list, that's completely true.
Now, I face a 3-bet, and I don't know anything about the player, and I'm not very experienced in PLO, but I do know that now the suits are not as good. I mean, I've got 3 of a suit, and it's 10 high, and then I've got this queen 10, so the 3's kind of a dangler in a lot of ways. And then I've got this 9-10 queen that's got the gap at the top. The hand just doesn't have a lot going for it in a 3-bet pot. So I just end up folding, especially with no reads. What's your take on that?
It really depends on your comfort level post flop, and just because, like you said, we have no reads. I'm gonna guess though, because looking at his name, I guess that's kind of that without really getting too much. I would say he's probably a reg because he bought in for exactly 100 big blinds and he's 3-betting you on the first hand.
Right, and he's 3-betting me to a pot-sized bet.
Yeah, so it's not like he 3-bet or anything like that. I could see merits for both. If you think you're comfortable enough post-flop, and you think you're going to be able to take it down enough, like, when, like, he checks or, like, you know, you float a flop or something and you're comfortable with your post-flop game, I don't think it would be minus EV to call here. But if you're kind of inexperienced, I think this is a pretty easy fold without reads on this post-flop play.
And I would say I definitely fall in that second category of not being too comfortable post-flop and not being very experienced, so...
Yeah, exactly.
I do make the fold. Alright, so in the very next hand, we pick up a suited ace with a 6-3 to a limper from the cut, actually from the button. So a suited ace on the button, I'm going to raise, facing a limper.
What's your thought process?
My thought process is mostly that I'm in position and I have a suited ace. So there's not too much else going on there. I mean, I guess it's mostly I have the button, I have a suited ace, and I can either take it down pre-flop or post-flop.
Exactly. All right, so I would say you can approach it a few different ways. Like you said, raising can't ever be bad. The real question you have to ask yourself is whether limping is going to be better or doing something like a min raise or like making it like 75 cents or something like that, a small raise. Because it really depends on your blinds. Given we don't know anything about the, I don't even know how to pronounce that guy's name, TNT Poker Jeff. Given that, you know, he 3-bet you and he bought in for full size, he's probably going to fold from the spot, because I'm going to guess that he's positionally aware. It's hard to say, but, and then given the big blind is not short stacked, but he didn't buy in for 100 big blinds, I'm going to guess he's probably a weaker player based on that alone. And then, did he limp or did he actually post under the gun?
I think he limped, but, I mean, in my head, he limped. So, you know, whether he actually did or did not at this point doesn't matter because...
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, I was going to say, but basically my point, though, is, like, if you think the blinds are either going to 3-bet you or they're never going to fold, like, you expect to get a 3, if not 4-way pot here, I would probably limp or min raise. But if you expect to get heads up every time, I would probably just make it like $1 or $1.10 like you did.
Right. Would you limp in order to, like, call?
Yeah, I would definitely call in position, but that's mostly, I would only be limping if, like, I thought, like I said, if I thought the small blind and big blind were going to call a really high percent, or I'd get 3-bet by one of them. Because, like, your hand just plays so much better. Like, basically, when you raise a hand like this, when you expect to get a really multi-way pot, you're just kind of inflating the pot. You do a position, but, like, your hand isn't that great, basically. So I think it's a lot better to really minimize the pot size when you know it's going to be a multi-way pot. But if you think you can get heads up, then by all means try to isolate this player.
Okay.